Three, two, one. We are inching closer and closer to football season. Oh, sorry, I probably pulled it up.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead. Anytime.
3, 2. We are inching closer and closer to football season. Soon there won't be a weekend without any football games on Saturday or Sunday. But before we can get to football season, we have to talk about football. So we're here at Big Ten Media Days today, and for the Wisconsin Badgers, there's a lot of talk about expectations. They had a great season last year, going undefeated in the regular season, and that coming into this year, there's a little bit of talk about NCAA championship, believe it or not. With expectations so high, the team has created a motto on the defensive side of the ball to try to keep their egos down. And that motto is "Nobody cares, work harder." And here's what Dakota Dixon told us of how that motto came about and why it's so impactful.
On the offensive line, it gives us a lot more depth.
Christina, do you know when the first game is? Christina, do you know when the first game is? And we'll see how everything pans out August 31st when the Badgers take on Western Kentucky. Reporting from Chicago, John Hand, CBS 58.
Do it again. Do it again.
And we'll see how those expectations pan out August 31st when the Badgers take on Western Kentucky. Reporting from Chicago, I'm John Hand, CBS 58.
Okay.
We do it one more.
Sure.
Just straight through.
Yeah.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. We are inching closer and closer to college football season, but before we can get to actually seeing, take that again, sorry. 3, 2, 1. We are inching closer and closer to college football season, but before we see any action on the field, we have to talk about football off the field here at Big Ten Media Day. And as the Badgers prepare for their season, expectations are higher than usual. Coming off an Orange Bowl victory last season, people are talking maybe national championship. Sorry. Losing my train of thought. All right. 3, 2, 1. We are inching closer and closer to football season. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. We are inching closer and closer to college football season, and for the Wisconsin Badgers, that means expectations are higher than normal. They're coming off an exceptional season last year where they went to the Orange Bowl, and this season, if things go right, they should get the Big Ten West where they are favorites, and then maybe national championship? That's the talk around here today, but to help keep the team grounded, the defense has come up with a slogan, and that slogan is "Nobody cares, work harder." Here's what defensive back Dakota Dixon told us about that slogan and how it keeps the team grounded. We're good? Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, we're just about a half hour away from the NBA draft starting. The Bucks. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, we're just about a half hour away from the NBA draft starting. The Bucks selecting at number 17. Not exactly the sexiest pick. You're not going to get one of the lottery guys who are the big names, the DeAndre Aytons or the Mo Bambas, but GM John Horst told us earlier this week he wants a guy who's going to come in and make an impact right away. The challenge of that being that there's not a lot of guys available at 17 that can step into an NBA roster and have an impact. So a possibility for the Bucks tonight is to move in the draft. The Bucks could be looking to get rid of some of their bad contracts, i.e. Matthew Dellavedova, John Henson, and that could force them into the second round or even out of the draft completely. So here's what John Horst had to say earlier this week about trading the pick.
Yeah, we want to be good.
Yeah, exactly. right, do you mind if I do just one more? Just trying to think. Okay, yeah. We rolling? 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, we're just about a half hour away from the NBA draft starting. The Bucks picking tonight at number 17. Not exactly the most sexy selection the Bucks have had in the past, but one that could be important. GM John Horst told us earlier this week that he wants a player who can make an immediate impact on the franchise. But, of course, drafting at 17, there's not a lot of talent right at that position that can jump into an NBA roster and have that immediate impact the Bucks are looking for. So what's the solution? Maybe trade. The Bucks have some bad contracts on the books right now. Maybe Matthew Dellavedova, John Henson, big money, not a lot of production out of those guys. So maybe they try to package that pick and move a contract. Here's what GM John Horst told us earlier in the week about trading the pick. Sweet. We'll have plenty more on what the Bucks end up doing tonight coming up at 10. For CBS 58, I'm John Hand. Thanks, Bill. Well, one of the great things about baseball...
You don't have to hold the mic there.
Kind of easy. Thanks, Bill. One of the great things about baseball is that there's a new game every day, and that is just what the Brewers need today as they get another run at the Cubs after a terrible, tough 11 extra innings, 11 innings, 5... Too big? Too loud?
I turned you down quite a bit. Let's do it again.
Okay, sorry. Thanks, Bill. And one of the great things about baseball is that there's a new game every day. And that is exactly what the Brewers need today as they get another run at Chicago after a tough extra innings loss last night. The Cubs have been the Brewers' kryptonite so far this season, with Chicago taking 8 of the last 9 games against Milwaukee. Tonight, the Brewers are turning to righty Chase Anderson, who has been struggling as of late. He's given up a combined 11 earned runs in his past 3 starts. But the good news for Anderson is that in his last outing against Chicago in April, he went 7 strong innings, giving up just 1 earned run and 5 hits. So hoping he can get a little bit more of that magic tonight. One more note for you before I turn it back over to you guys is that Matt Albers has been placed on the 10-day DL with a right shoulder injury. He was the guy responsible for that 5-run 11th inning last night, so he's going to get a little rest and hopefully he can regroup. I'll have more on the Packers minicamp as well as what happens in this game between the Brewers and Cubs at Sports at 10. For CBS 58, I'm John Hand.
All right.
All right.
You're good whenever.
Thanks, Bill. The great thing about baseball is that there's a new game every day, and that is just what the Brewers need tonight after a brutal extra innings loss to the Cubs last night. The Cubs have been the Brewers' kryptonite all season, taking 8 of the last 9 games from the Crew. Tonight, the Brewers are turning to righty Chase Anderson, who has been struggling as of late. In his last 3 starts, he's given up a combined 11 runs. Not exactly what you want to see from one of your premier starters. Anderson was cruising in April, and that's when he took on the Cubs last. He went 7 strong innings, giving up just 1 run and 5 hits. So the Brewers are hoping he can regain a little bit of that magic from April tonight, as they desperately want a win against the Cubs in what is one of the tight races in baseball right now in the NL Central. One more note before I toss it back to you guys. Reliever Matt Albers has been placed on the 10-day DL with the right shoulder injury. Albers was the guy responsible last night for that 11th inning, 5 runs. He's going on the DL with the right shoulder injury, so hopefully he'll get a little bit of rest, be able to recoup, and get back to that Brewers bullpen, which has been spectacular all season. More on the Brewers and Cubs and the Packers minicamp coming up at Sports at 10. For CBS 58, I'm John Hand. Hi, I'm John Hand, and welcome into Miller Park. And if you're a Brewers fan right now, there is plenty to be happy about. Well, for starters, it's a gorgeous day. The roof is open. It's going to be a beautiful night for baseball. And 2, the Brewers have won 4 straight series, and tonight they welcome in the Mets. And the third piece of good news is that Zach Davies and Ryan Braun are coming off the DL. Zach Davies will be getting the start tonight. He went on the DL April 29th with a right shoulder injury, but
the Brewers are hoping that he will be able to give their starting rotation a little bit of boost, as they also reinstated Chase Anderson earlier this week off the DL. And they're going to couple that with their bullpen, which has the best ERA in Major League Baseball. So Craig Counsell has a lot to be happy about. Here's what he had to say to us pregame.